Now, the immediate past governor of Rivers State, Wike, has said he would make consultations with his wife and friends to determine whether or not to take up any appointment offer from President Bola Tinubu. The People's Democratic Party chieftain, who clarified that the president was yet to discuss giving him any appointment, declared that he is not too big to serve the country. Wike, however, said he would want to rest for the moment after serving as a governor for 8 years. Well, joining us to discuss this is a former APC National Vice Chairman, South-South, Etta. He will be discussing the ongoing romance between former Rivers State Governor Wike and President Tinubu and expectations from it. Good to have you on Arise News. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for your time as well. Well, when we look at what's being said by the former Rivers State governor and his actions, one might say there's a bit of, contradiction. On one hand, he's saying that he's taking time to rest after having served as governor for 8 years. And we understand that he's been in meetings, maybe about 2 meetings in the last 4 days. And it's being speculated that that might be linked to some appointments and also what's going on in the National Assembly. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, like the Chinese people would say, we're living in interesting times. Mr. Wike is a very interesting personality from my heck of the woods. He's from the South, just like I am. And as the chieftain of the APC, I couldn't be more grateful for the role that he played in the last elections. Mr. Wike is a Nigerian, qualified to take up any appointment that the president may so wish to give to him. And a lot of us in the party and outside of the party who are Mr. Wike's admirers would like to have such an individual around us. It is also very interesting to see that the president is attracting the very best minds, very colorful people to him at this point. And Mr. Wike is unmistakably one of those very colorful politicians that have been attracted by the Bola Tinubu presidency. When you're talking about contradictions, I think that question should be thrown at Mr. Wike. He is the one who has made those two statements, that he wants to rest, and at the same time, that he's not too big to take up any responsibility that is given to him by the government. So it is in his place to explain whether he wants to rest inside of the appointment or within the ambit of the appointment, or he would like to rest for a while and then come back and tell Mr. President that indeed I have rested enough and I do hope that you can take me up on any appointment that you would have, you would want to give to me. So that question, I believe, should go to Mr. Wike.
Okay, Mr. Etta, here's a question for you. Now, we're looking at Wike saying that he would make consultations with his wife and friends to determine whether or not to take up any appointment offer from President Bola Tinubu. Now, for the sake of this conversation, if he calls you, what would you tell him? And should that answer be yes, if you had the ear of the president, what would you recommend the former governor of Rivers State for?
Well, if Mr. Wike has me in mind to call to consult as to whether he should take up an appointment with the president of the country or not, my first reaction would be that any Nigerian that has value to add to what President Bola Tinubu is going to give to Nigerians should come on board immediately and should not waste any valuable time. Mr. Wike has been in government for a long time, the last 8 years as governor of Rivers State. He is also, I believe that having spent 8 years in that very hot seat, that very seat that brings a lot of pressure to anybody that occupies it, I believe that he needs a little bit of time to also rest his body. But I know he's a strong man. I know he's a young man. He can take up any responsibility. And I would urge him that if the president presents you with that kind of a proposition, jump at it, because Nigeria is not going to see the kind of government that has never, that we've not seen, in fact, since the independence of Nigeria. On the other hand, where he should serve in government, that is strictly the prerogative of Mr. President. But if you ask me, if I were the president, and I am not, if I were the president, I would direct the very, very nationalistic and patriotic energies of Mr. Wike to a place where those energies are quite required. You see what he has done in terms of infrastructure in Rivers State. I believe that at the national level, he should go to an area where he will be saddled with the responsibility of providing that kind of leadership in the provision of infrastructure in Nigeria. That is if I were the president. And I believe that I am not. I am not the president. The president has the prerogative to do so. So we'll leave that to the president to decide.
Well, thank you for your response. But for those who might not necessarily view the former River State governor through the lens that you do, you've basically, spoken of him in a very positive light. For those that have seen what played out during the elections and even preceding the elections in terms of what happened within his own party, and don't necessarily deem him, don't necessarily view him the way that you do, what do you have to say about what message this will send if he was actually given an appointment in the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration? What message would this send to such people that don't share your view on him?
Well, facts are, opinions are free, but like they say, facts are facts. I am not a member of the PDP, and I am not one of those who hold the opinion that Mr. Wike is not what I think he is. And so I will not be able to find a way of expressing what they would have expressed. But I'm saying that, that this is democracy. We are allowed to hold opinions. And for those who hold contrary opinions, they're welcome to it. Democracy is basically predicated on the very fundamental principle of choice, the choice to take an opinion, the choice to make an opinion and to hold on to it. So that is my opinion. Those who have contrary opinions have every right to hold such opinions. As a Democrat, I will not begrudge them of their opinion, and I don't think that they have a right to also begrudge me of my opinion. That is that it should be in a democratic dispensation.
Definitely. And talking about opinions, I was just looking at this piece here where Shehu Sani, a former Kaduna Central Senator, responded to the former Rivers State Governor's remark about what he plans to do if Bola Tinubu offers him an appointment. And he did say that he feels like Wike is talking about appointments more than even members of the ruling party, suggesting that maybe this statement should not have even been put out at all, as opposed to, just waiting for the president to actually appoint him. Do you agree with this, or do you think he's in his right to just put this out, depending on the conversation that he had with the president?
Well, I think that I understand the perspective with which Mr. Wike said what he said. I think it was a situation. I think a question was put to him, and he responded to that question. And I think that Mr. Wike is a very forthright person, and if you ask him a question directly, he's going to answer you directly. I think that is perhaps where my dearest friend, Senator Sani may have found that he is talking about appointments far more than the members of the ruling party. I believe that he was only responding to a question that was put to him. I am not a spokesperson. I am not personally very close to Mr. Wike. I cannot, for instance, say whether he could have given a different answer to that question that was pointedly put to him. I think the question was, if Mr. President offers you an appointment, what will be your reaction? And he reacted pointedly, he reacted matter-of-factly, and I think that is how it should be. There is no need for people to prevaricate when questions are put to them. Mr. Sani could have answered differently, just like other people could answer differently. That is as it should be, because we are not robots. We have our own different ways of responding to issues of our environment.
Noted, Mr. Etta. Now, when it comes to this race for House speakership, there are reports that suggest that, the former River State Governor, Wike, has divided opposition lawmakers in the race for the House speakership. So they're specifically saying that he's kept 11 PDP members elect from Rivers out of the greater majority group of the minority parties in the House of Representatives. Again, we're looking at one case where he says, I served my time as governor, I need to rest. And they were looking at all these strategic moves, allegedly. So what would you say about this, if this report is true, about the fact that we've seen numerous reports that says that the process needs to be respected and there needs to be less interference, and now we're seeing moves like this allegedly being made by the former River State Governor?
Well, I think that if I am to have a conversation with Mr. Wike, I will tell him to keep away the position that he is going to rest. There is no rest for now, maybe a few weeks from now, because of the position that he has taken. His position is that he needs to help stabilize this government. He was a part of the winning strategy for this government. The government has been sworn in. He has taken up a role to help stabilize this government. And so the question of him resting for now should not be on the table. Having said so, Mr. Wike has come out pointedly to tell Nigerians that his role as of today is to help stabilize this government. And what he is doing with his friends who have won elections into the National Assembly is in that direction, to help stabilize this government. And let me say that there is no polity, there is no this kind of process anywhere in the world where you would ask members of the party, the ruling party, and those who are interested in a particular government to stay away from the process of leadership engineering. It is almost impossible for people to say that, oh, leave them, they are supposed to be free. Yes, nobody is going to circumvent any vote of any member of both, whether the House of Representatives or the Senate. But you cannot say, for instance, that the party that gave them the platform to win elections should not be involved in arranging who becomes what in that assembly. Even in the United States of America, before McCarthy became the Speaker of the House, you saw the various tendencies in the Republican Party, meetings and rubbing minds to find out who exactly will be the best speaker at the time. So it is not possible in politics for you to think that the members of the House of Representatives of the members of the House of Senate will just go into the Senate. Nobody is going to be involved. Even the leader of the party that has won majority in both houses should not be involved. Even the party itself should not be involved. It is not possible. So if you put that aside and know that this is an impossibility, then you now begin to question their motive. What is the motive of the leader of the party? What is the motive of the party itself? I believe that from what we have heard from the president and the party, the motive of both the president and the party is to stabilize the house and also make sure that every part of the country is carried along.
Okay,
now, those who oppose, even members who oppose the position of the party, are not exactly party men.
Okay.
There are those people who do not believe in the supremacy of the party. We have, in every political party, you have those kinds of people.
Well, still remaining on the issue of the Senate presidency. I can hear you, if you can hear me, Mr. Etta. We're still remaining on the issue of the Senate presidency.
Yes.
You know, at the rate at which the race for the 10th Senate president is going, there are fears that the nation will end up with a rubber-stamp legislative arm. Now, as the former APC National Vice Chairman yourself from the South-South, what long-term measures can be implemented to strengthen the independence and the autonomy of the National Assembly, ensuring that the emergence of presiding officers aligns with constitutional provisions while also respecting the party dynamics? Briefly.
Look, they are not mutually exclusive. That the party is interested in who becomes what does not erode the Senate of its independence, of its autonomy. And in any case, we did not vote for members of the Senate and members of the House of Representatives to come and be opposition, members who are members of our party, to come and be an opposition to the executive that is produced by our party. That is not the essence of democracy. The essence of democracy is that the National Assembly shall be a check on the executive, not an opposition. They are two different things. You know, the call of Nigerians, as if the party is interested and the president is interested, now the National Assembly will become a rubber stamp, is to very sane minds. It is out of the question. It is out of the question. We want a National Assembly will be alive to its responsibilities and also partner with the executive to deliver good governance to the people of Nigeria. We did not vote for them to come and become an opposition to an executive that is produced by the same party. That is not the essence of the different, different arms of government. That is not the purpose. All of us are on the same page to deliver good governance. You give us the good laws that will enable the executive to execute those laws to the betterment of Nigerians. That is what we want.
Thank you.
But we will also know that the party and the president, who is the leader of the party, must get involved in a manner where the Nigerian people will feel included and that the party has included them.
Well, on that note,
in
Mr.
the government of Nigeria.
Etta, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we'd like to say a big thank you for joining us. Hilliard Etta is the former APC National Vice Chairman, South-South. Thank you for your time.